Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Sports Talk with Austin, your daily dose of sports and entertainment. And today on the show, we are going to be talking some NBA basketball, talking about the Detroit Pistons and what is wrong with the Detroit Pistons currently right now. What is up in Detroit? But first, before we get into that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another great video here at Sports Talk with Austin. But let's get into our topic today, shall we? What is wrong with the Detroit Pistons? And that is a very loaded question to a lot of fans. And Detroit, who has lost 19 straight games in a row, the longest active losing streak in the NBA currently, and the Detroit Pistons, they're one of the most losing franchise in history in the last 5 to 10 years. Years ever since the bad boy Pistons in '04 and '05 won the championship and went back to the conference finals and got back to the finals. The Pistons have been historically losing as of late, and Detroit Pistons fans, I'm sure, are getting sick and tired of it. And I don't see why not. I mean, they have a lot of talent. They've drafted guys like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Asir Thompson. This year's team is loaded top to talent. Bogdanovich, who they got in a trade from the Utah Jazz. This team is loaded with talent, and they recently fired their former head coach and hired Monty Williams to a big gave him a big contract over the next 5 years. And Monty Williams is coming off of a run with the Phoenix Suns where he took them to not only took them to the NBA Finals and nearly won it, but lost in six to the Bucks, and won the Western Conference Finals with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And then he was fired last year after getting blown out at home to the Denver Nuggets, who won the eventual NBA championship. And now he was signed to Detroit to hopefully bring this team back to the promised land. And it has not been working out so far this year. They've lost 19 in a row. And they've run into a tough stretch of opponents along the way. The Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, the LA Lakers, to name a few. But that's still no excuse with the talent you've got. You've got Cade Cunningham, who's averaging 22 points per game a night. You got Jalen Duren, who's averaging nearly 11 rebounds per game. You've got some talent on this roster. They're very young. They're very youthful. And, a lot of this is learning curves, but when you're the Pistons and you've acquired all this talent from your draft capital, Pistons fans and NBA fans alike get a little restless just for the fact of the Pistons are supposed to be better than this and they're supposed to be a better team, but it's just not happening. Now, whether that is, obviously Detroit thought it was the head coach when they fired their head coach last year and then hired Monty Williams, who is a well-respected head coach, got the Phoenix Suns to the NBA Finals, lost at 6, so he has big game experience, but it just seems to not be working. Is Monty Williams' system not what Detroit likes to run? And Cade Cunningham, he's played every game this year, and he's done really well in all of his games. He's done really games averaging 22, 6 and 8 per night. I mean, dude is a star in the making. What am I saying? He is a star as we speak. But the Pistons are just not winning games, and it's getting frustrating. And it brings a lot of questions: is what's wrong with the Pistons, and what changes do they need to make to get this turned around? They need to get something changed real quick because the Pistons cannot keep going at this rate if they want to contend in the playoffs or even contend for the play-in. This is very ridiculous with all this talent that they're losing this many games and they're not even in the conversation for the play-in. Detroit's got to get it fixed. They got to get it right, and hopefully for their sake and their fans, they can get it right and get it fixed soon, because Detroit, they've seen a lot of winning. They've won a couple titles in their time and conference titles, but as of late, it's been all but that. And Detroit, ever since their last playoff appearance in 2019, they have not seen much success. And a lot of Pistons fans were hoping with Monty Williams, a breath of fresh air, he could bring new life into this Detroit culture. And maybe that takes time, but Piston fans and NBA fans are not going to be patient and wait around for Detroit, and they want answers now and they want results now. But Detroit, I agree to some extent. You've got all this talent. You should not be losing 19 in a row. That's very inexcusable, and need to take accountability for y'all's actions, and y'all need to get it right before it's too late and get things fixed in Detroit. Because Detroit is a winning basketball culture. They have a great team. As we speak right now, they're just not putting it all together. They rank bottom 15 in every statistical category. Just about. There's a couple categories where they're a little higher. Points per game, points given up are one of the big categories that you look at the stat sheet and say, "Yikes!" Detroit, their defense is not very good. The Detroit's just not winning very many games right now, and they need to get it fixed if they want to have a shot at anything in the future. But what do you all think the Detroit Pistons should do? That's just my opinion on it. I think Detroit, that's a lot of it, that their talent may not be meshing well together, that the coaching staff may not be right. Maybe Monty Williams is not the right fit in Detroit that the Pistons were hoping, but Detroit definitely needs to do something, whether that's trade away some pieces or trade for a superstar to help bring this team together, or a veteran like a Chris Paul like they had in Phoenix. That's just my opinion on this team, the situation right now. But you all let me know down in the comment section what you all would do if y'all were Detroit. And what do you think of Detroit's historical 19-game losing streak, the longest in the NBA this season? What would y'all do? But once again, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This has been Sports Talk with Austin. Go Cards. Peace.